Hello and welcome, and today I want to do something a little bit different. I thought I want to make a fun video this week. Let's talk about some hot book takes, but not my hot book takes, your hot book takes, because I'm forever saying something stupid when I'm bringing up books. Don't even get me started on Empire of the Vampire. So what I did was I shot out a request on both YouTube and Discord, and I asked you guys for your hot takes, and they immediately started rolling in, and I read through a few of them, and some of them are pretty good. So I really quickly stopped reading them so I can do like a fresh reaction. Most of these, like I said, I read a few. Most of these I haven't seen. So we're going to go through them together. I don't know how many I'll get through, and I'll tell you if I agree or disagree with them. And of course, there's going to be some I'll probably just skip right over if they mention, like, say, a book or a author that I've never heard of, because I don't have much to add to that. And that way we can kind of get through these and see just how wild and crazy you people are. It's okay to not enjoy the classics. Some of them have objectively aged badly and don't hold up when compared to modern literature. I say 100% I agree that it's okay not to read the classics. I think some people just don't enjoy the classics because they're drier and they're just structured differently. Maybe they don't focus on characterization or characters as much as modern fantasy. I think it's just fine in general not to like the classics. And I would say some of them probably have objectively aged badly. I personally like the classics, so it's, I'm kind of mixed on this one, but I absolutely agree in the sense that it is perfectly fine. Just like what you like, and if you don't like the classics or you don't think they aged well, you prefer modern, don't read the classics. You're fine. Not every author has to have a universe. For example, Sanderson with the Cosmere, King with the Dark Tower, and yes, even Erickson and Esselmont with Malazan or Malazan. Yeah, I agree with that too. Even though I'm a huge Stephen King fan. Dark Tower is like my favorite series of all time. And he's like the original multiverse guy, it feels like anyway, in the book world. He's doing the multiverse thing back in the 70s and the 80s, way before it was cool. And I think that's one of maybe my favorite book universe. But no. You do not have to have this big elaborate universe. I 100% agree with that. And I think it's gone too far, like especially post MCU, like everybody has to have multi-connected everything now. Even movies is doing it. It's okay. Write a standalone book. It's fine. It doesn't have to connect to every other book you've ever written. 100% I back you. I got your back. Wear and tear of books and cracked spines are good. They show books were read and loved, and they are meant to be read, not preserved. I don't get people who go through all this trouble to make sure their books look brand new, like they're still on bookstore shelves. Sorry, Suzanne. That's not Suzanne's comment, but she's a subscriber and patron. Sorry, Suzanne. I agree with him, because she comments that she dies a little inside every time I just throw my books down onto the floor because I have little to no respect for them. But no, seriously. Yeah, read that. Hold on. The spines of my Dune books are atrocious. I don't know if you can see that, but it is like cracked all to holy hell and back, because those are the ones I read, and that's just what they look like. And yes, I just threw that on the floor. But I agree. Don't be so delicate with your books. They're more durable than you think. You will be surprised the kind of punishment they'll take and just go back to being readable just like they were before. Blam has the most incredible and unique sci-fi world in any fiction. I don't know. I don't know if I'd say the most incredible and unique, but I would put it probably in the top 5. I mean, it's truly incredible and truly unique. So I'll give you that. I don't know if it's the most, though. You should loan your books out. We want to infect more people with the desire to read. Unless you have an expensive special edition, only loan those to trusted friends. 100%. And then be totally happy when you never get that book back, because half of the books that I loan out, I have never gotten back. If you loan it to a work friend, like you go to a job and whatnot, you're definitely not getting that shit back. But 100% give that stuff away. Give it to people. You might get some back. You might not get some back. I loaned my Clara and the Sun hard copy to a friend at work. He then quit, and I never saw that book again. I had to go buy another one, which that's okay. But still, I'm still defending this comment. loan your books out. It's all right. You're going to sit there at work or out in the public and you're going to talk how great this book is. And then when the person wants to read it, you're going to be like, but you can just figure out how you're going to find the book because you ain't touching my copy. I don't know. Yes, I agree. Loan your books out. Spread the love, spread the books, spread it all. Audiobooks are not considered reading. You listen to the book, you did not read it. I mean, okay. Of course they are correct in like the technical sense. Like, let me look up the definition of reading. The action or skill of reading written or printed matter silently or aloud. So of course, by definition, it isn't reading. But I will say, I mean, at this point, it just feels like we're being pedantic and exclusionary. I mean, so what's the argument that we're making here? That listening isn't reading or listening isn't like, I don't get it, because of course it isn't. You listen to it on an audiobook, but you still consume the exact same book, the exact same material, the exact same words entered your brain. So then you experienced that material and that story just like the other person experienced it. There is no reason to have like this weird hierarchy, this weird exclusionary like wall that we're putting up. Well, I read it. You listened to it. Like, that makes a difference in some way, shape, or form. I will always reference that video by John Green, where he kind of goes through audiobooks and how people interpret them and experience them. And some people actually have better comprehension and understanding with the audiobooks versus the reading book. I'll go ahead and link that video in the description because he's way better at describing this than I am. But I don't know, it just feels weird. It feels pedantic and it feels like exclusionary for no real reason, when the whole idea is to spread the love, just like with that sharing books thing that we just went through. Share your books, spread the love, get as many people to experience this. We already feel like a shrinking community. We already have that thing where like everybody wants to claim men don't read or something like that. Damn it, get them into listening then. Whatever we got to do. Spread the community, make it bigger, make it stronger, make it more vibrant and robust. Unless you're simply here making this hot take to be pedantic, in which case, technically you are correct. If an indie published author's book cover looks like it was made in Microsoft Paint, I refuse to even look at the synopsis and automatically skip over it. That's harsh. I can't really speak a lot to this one because I don't actually read a lot of indie published authors. I probably should, but I will say that I can absolutely see that. I already have a difficult time with bad book covers anyway. Like, I will skip over them. There have been times where I go back to them and I really regret skipping over that book, but I can totally see, especially some of the really, really, really bad, cheap looking ones, because I've seen some really bad ones. And it's a shame. You could have probably just went to like a stock market place and paid so little money to get a much better cover. I don't understand some of them, but I understand the drive and the desire to just skip right. If the cover looks cheap and they didn't even bother to put money into the cover, what's going to be inside that book? And I know this is wrong, but I'm just saying, I understand why this person would say this. And indie authors out there, listen, pay $5 and you get a better picture. Don't make your book look cheap, because people will assume the content is cheap. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, Berserk, after they get off the boat, is not worth reading. Its art and story pacing is so bad I can't recommend it to anyone. Ouch. I disagree. First off, wrong. No, stop that. Don't tell people that. It's fine. Go read Berserk. It's a great manga. Don't listen to this person. I personally think it took a dip after the Conviction arc and it has never reached the same heights prior to that. But I would never tell you that it's not worth reading. It is definitely worth reading. I enjoy it to this day. I'm current on all the chapters. Special editions are a waste of money. I want to read the book, not look at the pretty cover. If I could have nothing but mass market paperbacks, I would be happy. It feels like people are personally attacking me in this section of the Discord. I have so many special editions because I love them deeply down to my very soul. Now, what I will say is the words inside of my special editions are the exact same words that are inside of the mass market paperbacks. And I do understand there is no need to have them. And I only typically buy them for something that I've already read and that I genuinely love. And I just love owning very nice editions of the things that I love dearly, like my Dune books and I like owning nice copies of things. But they are 100% not necessary. They are an absolute luxury item that is kind of silly to a certain extent if you really think about it. But then again, a lot of the things that we as collectors buy are kind of silly if you really get down to brass tacks. So I will justify mine because I love them dearly, but if you don't like them, I get it. Stephen King is one of the most overrated authors of all time, in my opinion. You are wrong, sir. He is not overrated. He is glorious, and he is one of my favorite. Shame on you. How dare you? Now, I will say, I understand. Like, it doesn't click. It took a long time in my brain, like, why do I love this man so much? And why is he so popular? Because his writing can at times literally feel almost adolescent in the way that he's approaching some subject matter and the way that even some of his dialogue is written. But there is an approachability to it, and there is a universal appeal to it. And then he also is so good at character, and he's so good at nuance, and he's so good at emotion and then he wraps all that up in that weird, approachable writing style. And I think it's 100% understandable and believable why he is as popular as he is. And I think it's insulting to call him overrated. But at the same time, all of that goes together in such a weird package that even when I hear people like, I don't like Stephen King, I'm like, I get that. Like, I totally get it. So I don't think he's overrated. I think you just don't connect with it, and that's okay. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. Book of the New Sun and Malazan clear all other science fiction and fantasy so hard it's almost not worth reading anything else. No. Hard disagree. I don't agree with that on any level whatsoever. Now, wait a second. Let me back up. I do think that Malazan and Book of the New Sun clear most other science fiction and fantasy, like hard clear them in terms of quality, execution, like imagination. They are two of the peak series, and they are even my beloved Dark Tower, which is my favorite series of all time. I would say both of these clear it in execution. Just the sheer ability, what those two series achieve and do. Holy shit. They are some peak writing, and the just technical ability is mind-boggling. But it's almost not worth reading anything else. Hard disagree. I don't have that problem when I read something. Like, there's people been like, I read Game of Thrones and now nothing else hits the same, and I just had to start reading Game of Thrones again. No, get out of here. Or the same thing, I read Malazan, now I just can't read anything else. Everything else feels beneath it. I don't understand that claim at all. I can move on to just about anything. I read a Malazan book and I pretty much transitioned directly into Vampire Hunter D this month. And you know what? I loved it. I love Vampire Hunter D. It's a big time guilty pleasure of mine though. So, and that writing's not great, but I love it anyway. And I transitioned right into it. Fine. It's just no on that. You can still transition to other books. You'll be fine. My hot take is that genre is ultimately irrelevant. An author with good characterization, pacing, and plot design can tell a good story in whatever genre they want. Too many readers artificially limit themselves to their favorite genre, be that science fiction, fantasy, romance, historical, biography, whatever. 100% agree. Now, I don't know if people artificially limit themselves. Actually, I think there's a good majority of people who do really identify, I am a science fiction reader, I'm a fantasy reader. Just look at booktube channels. Really, really want to, they'll put it right in the name of their title, sci-fi, fantasy, and then they'll really hard hone in on that. So I guess, yes, it is artificially even limited to the content that we consume. Now, I 100% agree. You can explore any genre. And I will give an example of Kazuo Ishiguro, one of my favorite authors, has said before in the past, he always comes up with the characters and the story and the emotions that he's trying to convey first. Once he has the emotional beats that the characters are going to go through and all of that, and like the arcs that they're going to complete, once he has everything in place story-wise, then he'll try to figure out which genre he's going to plug that story into, which genre would best complement the story he's trying to tell. So literally, he has the entire story done before he ever goes, I wonder what genre this should fit into. That's why Kazuo will have something like a period piece like Remains of the Day, next to a science fiction like Clara and the Sun, next to a fantasy like The Buried Giant. Because to him, like the least important part of the entire story is the genre. The genre's only there to complement the characters and the story and the arc that they're going to go on. So I absolutely agree with pretty much every aspect of that. So I don't know if that's a hot take, but I like that take. Anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up here. If you have any more hot takes, go ahead and drop those down in the comments below. And as always, everybody, the link for my Patreon is in the description below. The link for my Discord's in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.